constructed technosols, and I called it from development towards sustainability because, when developing technosols, we are never sure how sustainable they will be, although we hope to keep them sustainable. And this is just a starting slide with the classical reference to the genetic soil science. As being a Russian soil scientist, I cannot keep this. And if we refer back to the Kuchayev's definition of soils and his reference to the soil forming factors, with the climate, biota, and relief burn material and time, we definitely keep them all when we talk about technosols. However, the anthropogenic factor is something that we have in addition directly and indirectly affecting urban soils. When we talk about urban soils, we shall understand that it's a unique diversity of possible combination of layers, of factors, of functions, etc. And that's why, for instance, I think that Urban Soil Institute is, I'd say, in my dreams, a huge building with, I don't know, 20 stories and thousands of researchers, because this is how much is needed to try to get insight into such a diversity. But if we compare urban soils versus natural soils as some general prototype, let's say, we should consider for urban soils the predominant effect of anthropogenic factor, high spatial variability, young age, and that's why it's so difficult to understand what we can expect from urban soils and how we can project their functions, their properties. Moreover, this variability can be observed also in the climatic gradient. This is the, we can probably call it the soil gradient we observed during this summer school that George referred to, together with Thomas Nelson, by the way, who will be the next one. And you see that on top there is the zonal variability of natural soils, and on the bottom the variability of the soils excavated in urban areas at the same zones. And whereas some features are inherited, and we obviously see some zonal features in urban soils as well, but at the same time, urban soils are much more specific, and there are some features which are unique, not dependent on whether you analyze them in tundra or in dry steppes. And from all this variability, constructed technosoil is probably the best and the most interesting case, because we can project and understand them from the very beginning. Basically, we are responsible for how they look like and how they function and what we can expect. Talking about the functions and services of constructed technosoils, we shall consider some main factors, which are the type of vegetation they covered, like lawns or shrubs or some other types of green infrastructure, pavements, and of course soil substrates which we use, compost, sand, peat, etc. You can see these two recently taken photos from the experimental sites in Moscow, where these are the 2-year technosols, and you see they were all created following more or less similar design, but you see how different they are after just a short period of time. By constructed technosols, we assume artificial soil constructions, and there are two outcomes from this. We can choose materials and design to provide functions, ecosystem services we need, and that's a unique opportunity. We don't have it for any other urban soils. And at the same time, we can project functions and ecosystem services based on the known materials and design. So basically, the research we are doing and many other groups on constructed technosoils are doing are focused on one of these two ideas, or both. So from technosols, we know better what to expect, and at the same time, we can design functions and services according to our needs. What can we expect from technosols? What can they do? I will just give a few examples from not only our research to illustrate this. First of all, of course, mainly, at least in urban areas, we create technosols to provide aesthetic and recreational functions. And this is recent pictures from the ongoing project where we develop technosols from similar materials with the identical design, but in 3 contrast climatic zones, in Apatite, in Kola Peninsula, in Moscow, and in Rostov. Basically, Tatiana and George know these sites pretty well. They are also the starting and finishing points of the FreeMU.js. And you see that even though climate is so different, the ornamental and recreational functions can be performed with a similar effectiveness. This is the pollution mitigation story, also coming from Kola Peninsula, from the industrial barren, an area strongly degraded due to the heavy copper-nickel pollution. Yeah? The concentration of nickel in some points was above 2%. So not 2 p.m. and not 200 ppm, sorry, but 2%. Very, very polluted. And our colleagues, mainly Marina Slukovskaya and her group, they were working at this area to restart ecosystem based on the created technosols. And you see, this is what they had in 2011. This is what they have in 2017. And we also mapped this area this year to analyze what are the further dynamics. Carbon sequestration of technosols, this is what our group is mainly focused on. And this is an experiment we had in Timiryazev Academy a couple of years ago, and now we continue at some point. So we compared technosols made from the same material but with different depth, and analyzed CO2 emission and carbon stocks. And our outcome was that although there were some positive dynamics, still green lawns based on those technosols could not be carbon sinks, they were carbon sources. So basically talking about the sustainability issue, I'm not sure how sustainable are technosols, at least at early ages. And it looks like that a couple of years is not enough to stabilize them, which is an issue for urban areas where reconstruction is so often that soil lifetime is often just 5-10 years. So very likely we never get to the stable level at this stage. And finally, the biodiversity control. This is something I'm not really good at, but let's say I'm very interested in. And this is a new direction of our research. This is the results, the first results of the metagenomics analysis we did for the constructed technosoils of the first year and second year. And again, I have no idea about these taxonomic names here, but it's clearly that just within 1 year, the microbial succession changed. And I believe that this dynamic in microbial activity, microbial diversity, could be the sign of this movement to the sustainability that we did not see with the previous cases. So that's pretty much it. Or for those of you who are interested in studying technosols, also via climatic gradient, we have this interesting prototype of the field summer school, where we analyze technosols versus native soils in a very diverse climatic conditions from subarctic to subtropics. We do it every year and even under COVID limitations. So this year we partly did it online. Let's see how it happens next year. But anyway, FreeMU.js will continue. And for any other information to learn more about technosols, and not only, welcome to our Smart Urban Nature Laboratory website, and physically to Smart Urban Nature Laboratory, especially when the traveling gets easier than now. Thank you very much.